but we go together to Bible studies. So even when she's spending, I know what she's spending. So that has kind of helped us to bond, but also.
So welcome, this is your girl Red Rose Urban Missionary and you're joining me on the BBC. But guess what? This segment is called Marriage and Mastering. So basically this segment is about giving you the time-tested nuggets on how you can build a fulfilling marriage, alright? I am very excited, but before I even introduce my guests, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Maybe I should introduce them now, you know? You guys, like, thank you so much for coming. I am so excited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So if you can just introduce yourselves.
Go on, baby. Go on. You got
Tendai Marongas is my name.
Alright.
And I am married to this wonderful specimen.
Oh,
For a good 10 and some change years.
be specific.
13 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
And I know if you've been following me, I've been bragging about this 7 years. But now I'm interviewing a couple that has been married for 13. I feel like I'm in grade 1, you know. Yeah. So you guys have been married for 13 years.
Yes.
So how has it been like?
It's been amazing. It's been a journey and a half.
Very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of growing over the years,
And,
but
still growing.
yeah.
Still
But
growing.
it's been great.
Great. Like one of the things that among a lot of things that I love about the two of you is how like you seem to do a lot of stuff together. Like I know you're a TV, radio, whatever personality, and you're like the director, content creator, something like that. But I just love the way you just work together and you're like buddies, like you look like you're best friends and you don't look like you're pretending, like it looks real, you know what I mean?
It is.
So like one of the things that I was so honored, like one of the things that I was so excited about is, the honor of just interviewing you guys, like 13 years of amazing process. You know what I mean? And I know you're very busy. Right now you're about to shoot a couple of other things. Yeah, you've given us this time. So yeah, so how has the 13 years been? Like if you had to look back, got married 13 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And you have like how many kids?
We have 3 beautiful, beautiful babies.
And you look very young.
Can't believe it.
Great. So yeah, so I don't know why you want to start from like, how is your marriage so far? How does 13 years feel like?
Gosh. Well, I have to admit, now that we are about to celebrate our anniversary on the 4th of this month.
Woohoo! Wow.
So it has us thinking about the past 30 years, going back in time. And now we're like, hish, man, we've been through a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's, when you say 13, it actually sounds like a lot.
A lot, it is.
But, it's been a day at a time. Yeah, for us. And, it's only when I see my eldest daughter is turning into a teenager that you realize that the years have actually gone by quite fast. But yeah, it's been interesting. A lot of lessons learned, a lot of lessons still being learned, and a lot of reasons to appreciate each other. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a fascinating journey, all in all. All in all.
We thank God. And I'm sure like people that are watching right now, they're looking at this amazing couple, beautiful, amazing TV presenter, and you're the director, and they're like, oh my God, like marriage will be this beautiful. I want to be like them. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey, your story of grace? Like, did you just guys wake up, got, fell in love, got married, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 children, 13 years? Like, how has it been for you guys?
Well, Tendai and I met in 2006. Yeah.
Was it 2006 or 2007?
Yes, it was 2006.
Oh yes,
When it was
2006. 2006. And he was actually friends with my aunt sister.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember I heard about him from some girls that, oh my gosh, there's this guy, you know, he's so cute, yada yada yada. And I was like, yeah, I need to see this brother. Hey, I need to see some of that. And I did. And we exchanged numbers.
Okay.
And yeah, you know, we decided to hook up when I was done with my upper six.
Okay.
We decided, okay, you know, let's start seeing each other and, you know, start dating. And we dated for 4 months and we fell pregnant.
Okay.
Yeah, we fell pregnant. And I remember when we fell pregnant, I'll never forget that day. He almost fainted.
When you broke the news.
When I broke the news that I'm pregnant and stuff. And I remember my parents telling me that no, if you fall pregnant out of wedlock, we have a custom for that. So you have to go to your aunties. So I went to my aunties and then they delivered me to his place.
Oh my God. How old were you?
I was 19. We were both 19. Yeah, we were 19.
I really don't know why I was shocked when I think about it now. Like, I knew you were going to tell me you're pregnant, but now that I heard it, it's a totally different feeling. You know, yeah, because, you know, I remember how hard it was for me to tell my mom.
Okay. Why was it hard though?
You know, she was obviously, well, it wasn't a very good time for her at that time. A lot of things were going on with her and in Zimbabwe at that time, and then we had just moved to our farm where my grandfather used to stay, and she was already planning to come back to Zambia. So, you know, she had restructured her life and possibly my life, and me, I've, you know, gone around and done my own thing. And the most amazing thing about the conversation we had was she wasn't upset to say, like, you know, you made your girlfriend who, I mean, when Fungi would come to my house, my mom used to make her sandwiches while we watch a movie and stuff like that. But she was disappointed that I wasn't the first person she told when I knew that information, and sooner, because now, you know, the circumstances where the other people who then got involved left her with very little control to really protect us, I guess, from some of the things we then experienced, especially from my family side. I remember we were looking at Fungi, you know, our farm. You could see when someone is, you know, coming from like a distance to the opposite farm. And I could see, so I had no choice now. I just said, you know, Mom, I've got something I need to tell you. And well, you know, she wasn't too surprised. Like, you know, I told you, the way you are close with that girl, I done told you you're gonna make a break. You know, but anyway, why did you not tell me this before we moved to the farm? Because at least if we were still at my house and because she had put up the house from rent, and she totally restructured her life. So now it was us, or rather me, you know, kind of putting her in a very precarious position, which I didn't understand until years later, of course, into the marriage, that actually, when you become a parent, you kind of start seeing exactly what disappointment feels like when a child does things like that. So it's years later I've actually appreciated to say she really cared then and still cares best interest about our relationship, and me in particular, by that conversation. And this is what we were pondering about prior to our anniversary.
Yeah, I mean, just learning that it was more of, I mean, when my dad heard the news, he was like, look, he is 19, she's finished school. Like, there's anything I'm proud of the fact that she's finished school. Yes, she hasn't started varsity, but she's finished the basics. And I'm glad that these two have decided to get married. Because one of the things I think that would have disappointed our parents is the fact that we would have fallen pregnant and gone our separate ways. you know, and the fact that we decided to stay together. And even though we didn't know what we were doing, you know, we then found out later afterwards that our parents, they weren't as angry. They weren't even angry with us, you know. And being parents has allowed us to see things from their perspective,
Their vantage
you know,
point, yeah.
from seeing from what could have they been going through in the process of learning that their daughter or their son is pregnant. And I remember my mother was with me when the news was broken to us that I was pregnant, and she was so hurt. She broke down in tears, crying, and she was like, "You were not supposed to fall pregnant. What have I done wrong?" You know, and yes, you know, and I didn't understand it then, and I remember thinking, "Is she crazy? I'm the one who's pregnant." But now I totally get it.
Yes.
I get where she was coming from. I get her feeling like she had failed me, you know. I get her feeling like she had failed her husband, her feeling like she had failed her family, you know. And it was just so hard because she had lost her mom and she didn't have anyone, you know, to talk to about it. And it was just a hard season for them, you know. And I was 19, like he said, our parents had plans for us. You know, we were supposed to go to varsity. I remember at the time I had started doing a course in college, you know. I was going to start working the year after, you know, and my parents had their own plans for me, you know. And I think most of the time we forget that our parents also have plans for us. They want to see us do far much better than what we did. And I think just waking up to the fact that they were not mad at us, they were just disappointed. There's something so different. I think when you become a parent, you understand the dynamics of disappointment and anger and how different they are, you know.
I mean, my grandmother laughed. You know. She was the first person I told. And she backed she backed out. Oh my gosh, you know. And I couldn't
And you know what the
understand
funny
how.
thing is? I didn't have morning sickness.
Yeah, I had morning sickness.
He was vomiting in the morning.
So-
I didn't have morning sickness with Juanita. Like, he was the one waking up in the morning,
Nausea.
vomiting,
Really?
nausea.
Before you knew she
Ladies,
was
you can
pregnant?
tell me
Yes.
nothing about morning sickness. I knows it.
And you know what his grandmother
I love
said?
that.
His grandmother was like, if you were a girl, we're going to say you're pregnant.
And
Oh
when
my
she
goodness.
told me that,
Oh my goodness.
I was coming from town or
Oh
from
my
school. I don't know where I was coming from. And as I was just getting to the veranda, you know, she ran out of the house and went to the lawn and started vomiting. Like, Danny was like, you know, the way I'm feeling, you know, old people. Like there's someone who's pregnant. My heart now.
But at that
This
point,
woman.
did you know that she was pregnant?
At that point, no. At that point, I didn't know for sure.
Wow.
I didn't know. No, I knew by that time. I knew because that's the same night I told her. But I had already had like weeks vomiting, headache, you know, strange things. So she had already been passing. So that day when she, I said, you know, I'm sure it was God talking to me. You need to tell this woman, you know. And so, you know, in the evening. we went
So
to
how
her in
old
the
was she?
kitchen.
Like, you know, when you told grandma?
How far along was
Yeah,
I?
yeah.
I was like, what, 2 weeks? 3
Like a
weeks?
month. Like a
was
month, you know,
very
some
early.
guys, they discover after 7 months when the baby's born. Me, 1 month, I didn't even have time to first plan, to think of my strategy. You know, I had no choice but
I
to start
remember him
telling
saying,
me,
God,
why?
1 month.
1 month. 1 month.
So I'd been like sick for a couple of weeks, and then, you know, I think I didn't even go to school because of that. And what. Then when
of
she
morning
told me,
sickness.
then she told me, and my grandma was throwing, you know, those punchlines, like, you know, the way I'm feeling,
Oh my goodness.
So I went and told her, you know, Grammy,
Things are
there's
like
a
this.
situation.
Oh my goodness.
And, you know, she laughed. I thought, you know, she'd sit me down, see as she
Yes.
died of laughter. And, you know, she said, so when is she coming?
Like
I said,
she
"Well,
knew everything.
like, you know, it's almost like, well, I guess old
Grandmothers.
people's
Yes,
experience and
yes,
intuition.
yes,
eh?
yes.
And I just said, no, she'll be coming tomorrow, but how do
Tell
I
mom.
tell mom? That's my problem here. Let alone granddad, because my grandpa didn't take it too well, unfortunately. Yeah, may so rest in peace. He never never took that well, because the fact of me moving to the farm at that age, he thought, oh, finally my grandchild, my firstborn son is coming to stay with me, and all the things that he had hoped we'd do were about to take off. And in less than a few weeks that I've been there,
You brought a guest.
I've come with package.
A proper package.
I'll come with a package. So,
Oh my goodness.
of course, Grandma said, no, look, I'll sit and have a chat with her. No, don't worry about it. She tried to do the best so she could make me feel, comfortable.
Is Grandma still there?
Yes.
Buy her roses. Anyway, yes, so she encouraged you.
Yeah. So, after she did that, then of course the next morning, that's when I had a conversation with Mom. And Mom, I remember I telling me, it's not about the fact that she's pregnant. It's just I thought we were close enough that you could come to me and tell me, hey, Mom, I think there's
No problem.
yeah, you know what I mean. And to God be the glory that we are still together.
And so much in love. And inspiring.
and Mom has always been
Yeah.
God bless her.
has always been
So what would be, like, in case, obviously before I go to that, like, why wasn't abortion an option? Because I know most of the time, especially now, that, when teenagers, even when people who are, who are not yet married, when they fall pregnant, like, abortion is instantly the solution. But for you, it's interesting because at the age of 19, like, you didn't even think about that. You thought about marriage. You didn't know what that meant, but you just said, how? Like, maybe you can share more about that.
I think our value system, because I remember when I was young, I always told myself that I was not going to have children with different men. I didn't know why. I just knew that is what I wanted for myself. And this is not to say that, people with kids with different husbands are at fault. Life happens, and we all go through different experiences. But for me, it's something that I just said to myself, like, I don't want this, and whoever is going to father my first child
Should father the rest.
If it happens that we don't stay together, God, I'm gonna stay with one child for the rest of my life. And turns out he had the same values.
Wow.
Yeah. And when we found out that we were pregnant, abortion was never an option for us. We were raised by Christian mothers, and mothers who took us to church, who forced us to go to church, and we didn't like it then, but it instilled so much in us that even at our weakest points, that's what sustained us.
Wow.
That's what kept us.
Even when we are in that state of confusion,
exactly.
uncertainty.
Even when it seems like we are a part of the world, we were never of it. We were never from the world. So no matter what the devil tried, we were still God's children.
Your foundation was solid.
This foundation was solid. Thanks to our mothers.
Wow.
And our mothers
never
prayed
really
for us all the time.
I think it's now that we came to terms with that, knowing that actually all their prayer and it's like me, my mom just forced me to go to church every Sunday.
Both of us.
Not that I didn't like church, I liked it, but I also had my other life
His
going
mother
on.
would when he's coming from the club at 5 a.m.
No compromise,
she'd
man.
be like,
I was
isn't that the life you want to lead? But church is a must in this house.
Sunday, just go and shower, bath. We have
And
something
go.
to eat and we are going to church.
And you're like, oh my
Next time you will know to come back home early. Because tomorrow's church.
God bless her. It is what she will love you, man.
Thank you, ma'am. So I guess that's probably where that's why some of those things weren't really a brainer, because it wasn't. It was never there.
It was never an
that
option.
conversation was just never even. Or thank God, maybe we're also not exposed to people
who had the easy way out for us. Yeah.
So,
but you talked about the club. You didn't have friends, because I'm thinking that most of the club will meet different people, different values.
Well, for me, I can say that one of the things that also kind of helped was the experience that my friend had. I had a best friend in high school, and when she fell pregnant, she aborted. And I remember how hard it hit her, you know. So, and also it hit me hard as well because I didn't tell her not to do it.
All right. So you
So
felt somehow
I-
you were to blame because you
Most
didn't
definitely. It's something that later on, I mean, now we are mothers and we've grown and we spoke about it, and just getting to that place where we're like, look, we're kids. We didn't know any better,
yes.
you know, and it's okay. You know what happened, and I think just getting to see what the abortion did to her, the toll it took on her. I had that exposure as well, and she didn't want it for me either. You know,
So she's the first person, like one of the first people you told.
yes, she was one of the first people I told. I mean, when I broke my virginity, she was the first person I told, and she's like, "Why? You should have waited. Why?"
And
And,
that's
she was already sexually active, and I was like, "I want to be part of the game." She's like, "No, Fungi." God bless her. She's
Oh my
still my
Yeah,
friend
I
up to
think
now.
one of the things is having grown up, you know, as an only child, a single mother, because my dad passed away when I was like 3. I never wanted my children or child to grow up without a father, and obviously, baby mama drama would mean there's no family when it's like that. You know, baby daddy drama, it means definitely one of us we are sharing the children from different spaces. So it's never been a desire for me, even from earlier on. Even when that option was because it was presented, like, okay, you guys are young,
Yes.
let the kids stay with the grandparents, you go to school, you what. The first thing I said, look, if now you want me to have kids there, and there, let me take care of my wife. If there's any help that's going to be done, let it be done while we are. Because that was the logic to me. Like, okay, if you're saying it's in our best interest, let it be in our best interest to get. If it's punishment, then this is also how I'm going to.
I'm ready
to learn the
But I
punishment, but I will not go my other way. And yeah, we I thank God.
Apart from also thinking that we are crazy in love.
even after you fell pregnant.
Yeah.
We're like, we can do this. They don't know what they're talking about.
Who are they to tell us
What can they tell
about
us?
us?
About us? Were they there? So
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. But anyway, maybe as we sum up this like this talk, because I know, like I said, they have a lot of stuff to share with that. Like, what would be your advice to the both teenage girls and teenage guys, like who maybe have fallen pregnant? Like, what like now that you know better, what is one thing that you can share with them that can help them? Well, when they're, obviously, like, when they're in that state of confusion, we're pregnant, maybe I want to abort, or when I want to kill myself, whatever, I want to run away, I want to do all sorts of things. Like, what would be that one sort of advice that you could give to them to sort of give them confidence to make the right decision?
Well, for me, I would just say that trust God. God has
If you
a
don't mind, I'd
way.
like for you to tell them.
If you are out there and you are pregnant, trust God. God has a way for trading your ashes and giving you beauty. That's what He did with us. We made the mistake of falling pregnant before marriage, but our baby was never a mistake.
Right.
She was a blessing that God beautifully packaged for us. And when she came, before we gave birth to her, it felt like there was so much division in our family. But when that baby came,
Wow.
the unity in taking care of her, in taking care of us, the way God allowed us to grow, not only as individuals, but as a couple and as parents. We were never alone. We thought we were for some time, but you are not alone. We'll raise people up to come through for you. We had nothing when we went to give birth to our daughter. Absolutely nothing. No money. We were 19, no school. But I remember someone from as far as the UK is well fed. Even if you don't have money, God always raises people up for his children. You are his child. Don't give up on yourself.
And to the teenage guys.
I mean, I'll be honest, it's not easy, and it's not going to be easy. But like Funke said, trust God, and as long as you have that conviction, and God comes through. What you value, he values. You're going to have family react in ways you don't understand, and you need to learn to forgive them then, because it's not worth carrying into what then becomes this beautiful picture from this. When the baby was born, I can tell you,
Stop the morning sicknesses.
yeah,
Stop.
the morning, the morning sickness went away. All the drama of why she's pregnant, how she's all of that, and it's amazing. Some of the people who were really bad during that time became the people who were most loving even to our children. So it's important to know that falling pregnant before is the mistake, but not the child. The child is not the
Separate
mistake,
the two.
and you are not a mistake because of the mistake you have.
That's a good one, right? Like, you are not the mistake because of a mistake you've made. You've made a mistake, right? But you are not the mistake.
Yeah. So those are just. It's a consequence of having
Made a
made
mistake.
a mistake, and then you see God gives us grace to manage the consequence. Sometimes we sit there and end up blaming God and saying, "But where were you when I was? Didn't you at least stop me? You are all powerful. Or could you have at least let people find out when she was 8 months pregnant? Give me some time." But it's just good to understand at the end of the day there are going to be consequences for bad decisions. But then there is grace, because the Father we have is loving, is merciful. He's not standing there with a whip. He's like the Father waiting for the prodigal son. He's seated on the porch just saying, "You're going to come back and I will embrace you." So it's really just important to pray, and it's only in prayer that you'll have the strength, because it's tough. As a young man, there are responsibilities that you realize when a baby is coming, equally when a baby is born, and they don't go away for a very long time, but there is grace, like I've said, there's grace, and God is very faithful.
Great. And then I think one of the other things, in case you're a mother watching, like, I'm sure you picked a lot from what they've said. Like, one of the things that literally sustained them in the storm they were going through is the fact that they had praying mothers. You know what I mean? Because, like, you can imagine, it's so confusing, but because someone out there was on their knees praying for you people, you know what I mean? Like, God, at the end of the day, even though they fell pregnant and so on, but look, they're celebrating 13 years. You know what I mean? So thank you so much.